There is a reason that we have Congress funds things and you do not have private companies coming in to this extent and paying for whatever vanity project a president wants. In this case, he has literally taken a wrecking ball to our democracy and then, of course, engage in what many of us are concerned about here, which is pay for play. And that, as you noted, there's Justice Department cases. He's shown no hesitancy before to get involved in these Justice Department cases, not only involving companies, but more recently installing White House aides to replace career prosecutors, such as the prosecution of Jim Comey, the decision on Letitia James, all of these things, the pardoning of George Santos, and then today, the claim by one of his top advisors, Steve Bannon, when the Constitution full stop says no, you cannot serve more than 2 terms as president, that they're going to mess around with that. Just before we go to the next question, I do want to say one thing. One of my views is that they want us to start all these shows like this. They bring up him unconstitutionally serving more than 8 years. They pardon a guy that they really, really don't like, George Santos, so that they distract from what is right in front of us, which is a Republican-caused shutdown and skyrocketing health care costs and their refusal to even come and meet with the leaders of Congress to work this out. That's what's really on the minds of the American people. So I'm just telling you, no matter how horrific it is, expect one of these bombshells every single day.
Senator, I guess I just want to ask you about the volume of donor cash that is being thrown at the Trump White House and even the Department of Defense. You know, there's a news report that a private donor who remains unnamed has offered $130 million as a private donation to pay troops' salaries during the government shutdown, which possibly is illegal and only covers about half a day of salary anyway. And the point being that the government needs to just open up again, the point being that we have to come together and reopen government. But what do you make of that donation to fund troop salaries, and is it legal?
Well, this is one of the problems, Elise. We don't even know, we have no idea who this donor is. And this is the problem when he starts messing around with what we all know he does. Many people say the last person that talks to him gets what they want out of him, and maybe perhaps it's just who gives the most money. So that's why we're seeing this time and time again. You know, the Democrats supported a bill to pay federal employees, including our troops. Republicans blocked that. And this just continues. And what bothers me right now is he's embarking on this trip to Asia, and he just came back from another trip, and he claims he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's negotiating all around the world, but he won't negotiate with the members of Congress when we see the doubling of healthcare premiums for people who are his own constituents at home. And I think that's why you see these latest polls where he's just tanking for what's happening with our economy right now with the tariffs and the like. So if you notice, I'm going to keep focusing on that because I really think that Steve Bannon said that this week for a reason. He may believe it, they may make a play for it, but they want us to not be focused on exactly what we should be, which is the wrecking ball that he is taking to people's personal finances.
Well, can I play devil's advocate, Senator? Because
sure.
I used to believe that, you know, the administration, particularly the Trump administration, the Trump folks were very skilled at dangling a shiny object over here so you don't focus on this thing. But I now am to the point where I think that the chaos is, in fact, the point, and it doesn't have to be either or. It is both and. I think that the demolition of the White House is a metaphor for the Trump presidency. You know, he is tearing down the norms, the institution, right? He is literally tearing down the White House. He is focused on his donors and what benefits him and what he wants, not focused on the American people. Folks are literally standing in food lines all across this country right now. The troops don't know how they're going to get paid. Yet he's very gleefully talking about the $300 million at least that he's been able to raise for his ballroom. On top of that, the Trump 2028 hats are very real. They've been wearing them for months, even before he got back into office. And so if it is all, in fact, tied together, I mean, how do you all as Democrats, particularly in the Senate, attack it all? Because I understand y'all have been very good at being focused on the healthcare angle of this. And I think the American people do blame Republicans right now for the shutdown because Democrats have been consistent, I think, and dogged in your message. And frankly, people can see. But I think it's all real. So how do you walk and chew gum at the same time and also do a backflip?
Okay, so I am not, I think we have to do everything, including the backflips and triple jumps and everything else, because do not take what I'm saying as saying I don't think they want to do it. Of course they do. They're doing it. They're literally taking the East Wing down before our eyes. They would love to have him serve another term. But I do believe there's an element of this where they are so scared by what's happening with the economy right now that's of their own making, that they will talk about anything but that. As for the third term, it is so clear under the 22nd Amendment that the only way that you change that would be, if Bannon's talking about a plan, would be either a 2/3 vote of Congress or a constitutional convention, and then you'd have to ratify a change with 3/4 of the states joining in, and that is not going to happen. So I just think people need to, as scary as it is, what they're saying right now, you also have to look at what's happening. As scary as it is, as we look at what they're trying to do with gerrymandering in states, not just in Texas, but in Missouri and what we've seen in North Carolina, and he's trying to tear across the country. Our job right now is to make the point to bring in the people so they vote like they've never voted before. Our job is to win those 2 governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia and to carry on forward what we've been doing in every election since he got into office, no matter if it's a mayor's race in Omaha or a Supreme Court race in the state of Wisconsin or a legislative race in Iowa. We have been winning, or we've been very much overperforming in red states. So I have to look at this and stand back and say, okay, who are those voters in my state that voted last time for me and Donald Trump, those 10% of the people? And what is on their minds right now? They hate that he's taking down this East Room. Many of them took tours. It bothers them. The chaos bothers them. They care about our democracy, but they really care about the grocery bills when they see them. They really care that these tariffs are drying up their soybean markets. So you can do both at the same time, but to just neglect his horrific tactics where he doesn't care about the Constitution, he doesn't care about the structure of government and the belief in government and trying to make things work. He doesn't care about any of that, because what he cares about is trying to keep himself in office. And he knows very well that these tariffs are not working and that people are pissed like they've never been before since he came into office in January.